This is a person who's built their entire career on bullshitting. You constantly misinterpret people. You constantly make up lies about people. All the time you do that. And so now, finally, maybe this is happening to you. Shouldn't have done it.
And I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not great. The news is not great. Okay? I mean, it's bullshit. But still not great that, you know, they're after your boy. They're up my ass. And I'll obviously get into it right now. I'll tell you all about it, but let me blast off real quick. We will free you, brother. Yeah, free me. Free me. Free me. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm about to be seemingly made an example of.
Yo, have you guys heard of Hasan Piker?
I don't have any sort of patriotism in my heart for any, for America, but just in general. I'm not like a very...
Got his fucking eye hole. America deserved 9/11, dude.
Super commie Marxist guy, goes on social media, cons all the youth, acts like he's a big, nice guy. Shocks his dog, by the way, on live air and then denies it. Said that he thinks we deserve 9/11.
Is not great, okay? They're after your boy.
But now it looks like his day in court will come. And for a lot of people that have seen his videos, I've been asking myself for a long time, how did it go this long for Hasan Piker to actually, for him to be investigated? And
Yes, federal officials have served subpoenas to Marxist political influencers Hasan Piker and Codepin co-founder Susan as part of a wider investigation into whether U.S. organizations and leaders violated U.S. laws and sanctions in supporting Cuba's communist regime. Fox News Digital has learned this meltdown is everywhere, though a lot of Democrats are actually in support of what is going on. For a very long time, people are singing on social media that some of these influencers are being paid to be doing all sorts of things on social media. And it is now coming to light with what you're about to say. This secretary had something to say concerning this. I don't know if you've seen this. Take a look at this.
Financial records, his communications, his logistics, and whether he was working and aiding and abetting the Communist Party of China. Of Cuba. I said China, but that isn't.
Well, we may find out that that's one and the same.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good slip.
So I found this interesting. So a few years ago, you know, there was the tenant company scandal where several conservative influencers were getting paid by a company that was on the back end getting paid by, but even under a federal investigation, I believe under the Biden administration, they found that those influencers didn't know. They didn't know where the money was coming from, so they weren't criminally liable. But it brought up this idea, this foreign agent registration necessity. Is there specific legislation for Cuba and kind of adversaries, or is this really just under that guise of the foreign agent registration? In other words, if Hasan Piker took any type of payment for the propaganda, then he has to register as a foreign agent.
Well, that's another law, but it could apply also in the activities that Hasan Piker's been involved in, because exactly like you said, you know, there could be that you're violating the sanctions. So that's one set of laws. And then another one is that you could be doing influence peddling for a foreign nation. And that's this law where you have to register. So, you know, I mentioned China, and one of the important aspects of this is that there is this tech tycoon named Neville Roy Singham living in China who has pumped $285 million into nonprofits, including one of the nonprofits that Hasan Piker accompanied called Code Pink. And the big question on that front is whether these nonprofits are acting as agents of malign foreign influence. Those are three words that I hope everyone will learn, because that is what you see on the streets of America then, when you see these protests that talk about fascism. And, you know, Ro Khanna just talked about the Epstein class. Well, that is the propaganda language of that network.
Yes, according to these information, you can see it here clearly. The U.S. Treasury subpoenas into Hasan and Codepin could lead back to nephew, a Chinese-backed billionaire mega donor, Nevi Roy in China, has pumped 285 million into non-profits, including one of the non-profit that Hassan accompanied called Ping. Financial record, his communication, his logistic, and whether he was working and aiding and abiding the communist regime of Cuba. Okay, if you take a look at this, even this guy is found to have violated any of these people will cry everyone social media about this. And the kind of murders I'm already saying should tell you what is coming.
So according to Fox News and a bunch of news outlets, the feds subpoenaed Hasan Piker, Medea Benjamin, and other activists and organizers who went to Cuba. And as someone who was actually on the delegation with Code Pink and who has gone to Cuba more than once with Medea Benjamin, let me just say that this regime, all of those right-wingers that were getting online when we were on our trip talking about we were partying, that Code Pink threw a concert. Oh, and let me not forget all them white Cubans in Miami that ain't in Cuba can eat shit. And let me set the record straight, especially since these billionaire-backed media companies wouldn't care about the truth if you slapped it on their forehead. While folks were getting online spreading propaganda about that Cuban trip, having not stepped nary a foot in Cuba, let me remind the masses that while Americans can travel to Cuba, it is heavily restricted, which means that number one, we have to get a visa. And we cannot travel over to Cuba as tourists and can only travel under 12 authorized categories according to OFAC guidelines. And the OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets Control.
This lady will explain until she will get tired. They all knew that things like this will happen. Even Hassan knew at the beginning that he actually doesn't want to go to this place because he will avoid prison. Even some Democrats are now in support of what the US government is doing. If you take a look at a tweet like this, Jasmine Crockett posts video mocking Hassan after subpoenas from Trump for bringing food and medicine to starving Cubans. Kamala would have never. That is what you get for telling people to vote third party. They are now going after Jasmine because he actually mocked Hassan. If you realize Hassan was campaigning against Jasmine. Now this is happening. Jasmine decided to retaliate by mocking and actually getting excited for what he's about to find out. They are going after her. That should tell you a lot about the Democrat Party. To me, I saw these kind of things in the Biden administrations. They investigated a lot of consecutive social media influencers, said they were taking money in foreign countries. But at the end of the day, they realized they did not know where that money was coming from. They were set free. Now, if this is coming to light, something bad might happen. So let's just wait and observe what will happen in the nearest future. Expect meltdown. I want to appreciate people supporting, sharing out the videos. God bless you abundantly. As of the short clips you see at the end, that is for white algorithm. You can always skip.
God, hearing Spencer
person. I'm a big nobody person.
Incumbent only raising 200.
It's in my, I've told this before, and this is the only time I've ever said this. So. The sold out cookies that people should order from the fire victim. Everyone that supports me is a Democrat.
I love that Chelsea Handler was encouraging her fans not to vote for Pratt. For a fan.
Seen this city just fall apart.
Mayorship, insurance companies, they don't have to pay for people to rebuild their home.
Aaron Bass.
I just wanted to share how happy I am to be out.
The city councilwoman.
They say they can't just open up these cases with.
Can't keep streetlights on.
To the media, we do not care.
He's elitist in California. Now you realize people everywhere in America make fun of people.
And so this is my life.
You're talking about qualifications, right? Yeah. And the problem that I have with someone qualified for power.
Yeah, there's been rules in the middle of the game and give himself more Republican.
Why did this man just disgust me?
They need to go to New York.
Present the black community.
It's illegal.
Spencer Pratt, who's running for mayor of Los Angeles.
Able to laugh at him.
Inside, they started.
It'll be
more active Virginia. They gerrymandered this
family in LA.
Chelsea Handler, she's not a fan. Said me.
The only people that aren't are the socialists.
2010. You can look it up. There's articles.